live stream this thing. And I just playing a little bit of casuals. Oh, yeah, I'll leave it low. I just playing some casual Street Fighter this morning, see who I could bounce up with, who I could do a few things with, and yeah, try to highlight a few stuff with Yuri, and of course that's who I just play, you know. So that's what's up. So everybody doing so far. In fact, I'm gonna go into training. And while I'm in training, I'm going to put some things into practice and highlight a few stuff. Alright, I notice, I mean, of course you would notice that, and change this color. Set it with Akuma. Of course you'll notice that I'm not low ranked anymore, really. I've worked my way up to Ultra Platinum. And since I've done that, I have a few things I want to highlight and point out. You know, it's going to be good for anybody who is trying to get better at the game and stuff too. Show reasons or show ways in which you can improve in your Street Fighter 5. And I guess it's going to be in Street Fighter overall, right? So one of the things that first attracted me to Urien was this. Right, was that the ability to use Aegis Reflector. And the Aegis Reflector is debatably one of the more exciting things about Urien. It really, like I say, it's really fun to use. It's really fun to use and everything. You can work for nice setups like this. Alright, one of them nice little setups, something you could get to see, you could get to do. And it'll be very exciting to watch and experience with Urien. But when you start a match, you don't start with your V-trigger full, right? You don't start with any meter for that matter more than your life meter, and of course your DZ. And the objective in the game, of course, is to keep your life meter as high as possible and keep your DZ as low as possible, right? So that's easy to know, you know, easy to understand and everything. But like I said, for me, the exciting part was using the Aegis Reflector. So what I had to do, I had to learn to fight without using Aegis Reflector. And that helped me to really explore the character and his mobility and the kind of defense states he could put you in, his reset options, you know, things he could do, like he could corpse hop and all of that kind of stuff. And exploring this, you get to know what you're capable of, what you're not capable of, kind of things that Urien could do. Learn things like his bread and butter, simple stuff like this. And simple stuff like that target combo right there. This one too, and what you could do after that, which is debatably one of the best anti-airs, which is this right here. Right? Of course, you know, this could lead to a lot of damage. You could do your shoulder tackle after, you could actually do your EX headbutt after. Although I don't see why you would really do the EX headbutt. Seems kind of like a waste of meter, really. Right? You could also do EX shoulder tackle. You could do the up sphere. Right? You could throw the metallic sphere up. There's a bunch of things you could do after that anti-air. Even if it is if the person is not grounded and you catch them in the air, you could still lead to a whole lot of damage. So that's one of the things I like about Urien as well. Another thing too I learned to use is this, the step kick. That step kick, if you observe, it might not be as effective. You don't get a big bunch of frame damage, frame advantage, sorry. right? You could get you are +4 on it, right? So you can do stuff like that, or that, right? So you could see where this could go. But what I like about it is, usually once I am fighting an opponent and they reach at this range, they like to jump. They like to jump. And one of the things I would do is, and this is once I get a good read on them, and I notice that they want to jump, I would do the step kick, and they would land right behind me. Right? I would do the step kick, and they would land right behind me. And when that happens, most of the time what I would do, I will grab, or maybe I'll go for a crouch punch, like a crouching strong or crouching jab, and get some damage off of that as well. If things go according to plan, you'll be able to see what I was talking about with the step kick right here. And our next Urian player. So let's see how it goes. Like I said, I'm only playing some casuals right now because I want to point out a few things that, yeah, this guy's pretty good. I just wanted to point out a few things that I learned along the way with Urian, so I'm just doing it in the casual setting right now. One of the things with Urian too is his V skill is really important, but it's very hard to earn. It's very hard to earn because it takes time, and you have to be, it also takes distance. What did I do? Alright, that right there is clearly because of the lag. That's a setup that I know for sure works. Alright, should not have jumped there. Alright, at this stage, as far as I'm concerned, I should not be playing, because I shouldn't be playing for anything really beyond this. Oh, caught him with the shimmy. Instead, right now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get him to spend some of that meter. Because, right, like that. I could live with that, with him spending that meter, because, I mean, the round was already lost and I wanted to make sure he goes in with less of an advantage. I'm not playing this thing very well at all. Oh, input error. That is terrible play. That is terrible playing on my side. There's a little bit of lag, not much, because I know it's one of my meaty setups here that you end up getting away with. You're not supposed to get away with. But it's okay. And I'm clearly not getting to show. Yeah, once you're playing on PC, it does have a different level of lag in it. Kind of sensitive, but. Alright. In a case like that, come on, man, I'm not going to. Okay. Oh, I'm playing this thing terribly. This lag is getting the best of me.
Round 2. Fight.
Okay, things like that, you're not supposed to be getting away with it. stuff like that, you're not supposed to be getting away with it, because I won't, like, what respectable player would actually allow that to happen and not punish it? What respectable person would allow that to happen and not punish it, right? That EX head, but that a block. But because of the lag, like I say, he get away with it. Okay, so let's go. And there's a thing to it, people, they, why would I do that? Why would I allow that to happen? I should have went for the EX there. Yeah, so the lag allows a few things to get away, and you know, you wouldn't be able to see it at full there. But that is always happened once you're fighting against a PC character, a PC player. Alright, I'll show you what I'm talking about right here. So what I'll do is I'll set one of the same wake up action that you use. Let's see if I can find it. Alright, there's a DP. Whatever will work with the DP. Okay, execution, anyone? Alright, so that DP is strike invincible, so it won't work there. Alright, so what he did was he was the jab on wake up, right? And that is what will happen if anybody jabs on wake up against Urian after an EX shoulder tackle. Once you do the EX chariot tackle, all you had to do is just press space, and that is a sure crush counter. No two ways about it, no ifs, ands, buts, or maybes. Look at another thing to it. With Urian, you could always EX shoulder, change side, and it will crush counter. Watch. Just make sure I execute the way I'm supposed to execute. See? That is sure. The only reason this getting away now is probably because it have a little lag. Either that, or most likely I'm just not executing the way I'm supposed to be. So if you catch them close range, with the EX head, but which most likely you will, and you know they like to wake up pressing buttons, this is a sure way to, you know, deter them from doing that. Unless, of course, they wake up with something that is invincible to strike. Let me see if this thing is strike invincible as well. Yep, it appears as if that is strike invincible. No, it's not strike invincible. So even if you're waking up with this medium DP, Akuma that is, crush counter. The reason why I trade there is because I probably just press it there. I just press it bad. So here's something else to do with this crush counter setup. Okay, let me get it. What's going on with my execution? That is what has happened. Once you land the crush counter, of course, you could close the gap and then do crouching medium, crouching jab, EX, crouching medium, crouching jab, then EX shoulder tackle. And it will work. Most of the time, people like to use They like to still wake up with buttons after that. And it's going to work every time. This has happened to me before in different matches where people would still wake up with buttons even after that has happened, and like I say, they just get punished for it. I have another setup that I learned too, and I learned this setup recently. Most times you'll see Urian players do this, right? Most times they do this, right? That's a common thing. So now, because of that, I learned to do this. When people like to wake up with buttons again, this is what I was doing. Okay, wrong button there, wrong headbutt. Right, so if you observe what I did there, after the shoulder tackle and the fall, I closed the gap. This is what I was talking about with learning his mobility. I closed the gap with this. Close the gap with that. And that's because in this case anyway, the opponent, I did not set it to roll back, so he won't do the back recovery. Right? And as he's not doing the back recovery, jab headbutt to close the gap, and then I could start my sequence again. See? I never tried it to land the crush counter. But I may be able to do it. No, it takes too long to start up. So I could use the crouching fierce because that works. That works. The only reason this trades is because I probably just not as sharp as I'm supposed to be, so that's why it will trade. So let's see, let's set the recovery for back recovery, right? Now for back recovery, the jab wouldn't work. The jab headbutt to close the gap wouldn't work because they'll end up too far. And that will happen. So instead, of doing that, I just use the medium headbutt instead. With the medium headbutt now I get a little more distance, and the frame setup, the frame kill is just enough for me to still get to carry on my sequence by using the crouching fierce and letting it hit meaty on my opponent's wake up. So this is what it will look like. Right, so that way it will look like. Remember too, no matter what state Urian is, you have to keep your charge. Right, you have to keep your charge no matter what state Urian is in. That way you will always be ready to move around. Use these things as mobility. Another thing too is his knee drop, his violent knee drop. If you check the violent knee drop, they each have different distance, jab, forward, and the roundhouse, right? They each carry you into different distances. This too could be used for mobility. Sometimes it might be cornered or something and you get an ample amount of space. and you could simply use this to escape. Right, there's a decent amount of distance, and some characters might still be able to close the gap on Urian, but not too many. And by doing that also, you get to create some space for yourself, right? You get to create some space for yourself. Urian himself can't really reach the opponent after something like that. If he's close and you block that, look at how far away the person is, right? So that's something you could consider as well as far as his mobility is concerned. There's something else too I wanted to try. Right, this was another setup I had. Let me see if I can remember it clearly. Yeah, that was it. Sometimes, not always, sometimes while playing Urian, of course, like I say, I'd always keep your charge, right? So when we're doing this, you want to throw the metallic sphere up. And even so, you're trying to do the metallic sphere up, sometimes this happens. Right? You end up getting your fierce headbutt end up coming out instead of the metallic sphere. So in order to avoid that, what you have to do is simply let go of crouch and then put in the input for the metallic sphere. That way, the charge is gone and you won't make that mistake of the headbutt. However, in making that mistake so many times, I learned to set up something like this. All I did was, after the headbutt, I burned some frames and closed the gap with his crouching strong. And if you notice, every time Urian uses his crouching strong, he gets a little bit closer to the opponent. Right? And that little bit of movement puts me in perfect range to land another cross counter. Check it. Oh, my execution. See? And after that, of course, you close the gap and you do stuff like that and you carry on. So that is one thing too you learn. I think I even had a mix up with it. Yeah, I think I even had a mix up with it at one time too. Let me see. Yes, that's the mix up. I get to kind of change sides, really. So this is it right here. Right, and that change side, sometimes what would happen, if I do the medium, I'll end up on the other side. I'll end up on the other side of the opponent. But if I press medium, I can end up switching back and set up another cross counter, like that. It's kind of tough with this one because for the most part, they won't really be looking for a mix-up like that. Okay, my execution is not so good. Right, and what I notice here is I have to be a little more careful when I'm throwing out my face. But when I'm doing it this way, I could get to kind of switch sides. For some strange reason, I'm not switching sides now. Oh, I wasn't close enough. Yeah, shout out to the one viewer. Yeah, for some strange reason, I'm not getting to switch sides. Alright, well, I can't explain that one so much. Maybe oh, I know what it is now. I wasn't cancelling into the headbutt fast enough. Yeah, okay, just there. So that's one of the stuff too that I learned to set up as well. I saw Nemo doing this. And I thought it was really clever, so I picked it up too. That setup, once the player not looking for it, it will work beautifully, and it could work both ways. It could be like this, and of course you know what will follow up after that, or it could work this way. In a sense, it could work as a reset. And when I say a reset, I mean like an American reset, right? Of course, it's not a reset like this, and you're just mixing them up after that. It's not that kind of reset. In that case, your natural instinct here will be telling you to block high. Your natural instinct will tell you to block high, sorry, not to block high, but to block low. After that, your natural instinct telling you to block low. But then if I have this charged, of course, that is an overhead. It hits overhead, and I could start to deal a new sequence of damage there. Now, another thing with this is you could also set it up this way. And once you set it up that way, you could still get to deal the same amount of damage. Now the thing is, the violent knee drop, as I say, is nice for mobility, and you could switch sides with it. Right here you see I'm really close, and when I'm doing the roundhouse version of the violent knee drop, I'm landing behind Akuma, and Akuma isn't getting hit. But if I do the short version, he'll get hit. Right? If I do the medium version, the forward goes behind. So let me get this. Right, so that works right there. Now by doing it this way, the violent knee drop sometimes could be a telltale sign that you're going to switch sides. Right? That could be a telltale sign that you're going to switch sides. So sometimes what you could do to bait them out is this, and just jump straight. If you jump straight, they will automatically think you're going to the other side, and once you're going to the other side now, you'll believe that, okay, well, I need to block the opposite direction, and they will actually walk right into it. And of course, you're at Urian's mercy there. Right? Or because they believe that you're going to do the violent knee drop and you're going behind. Instead of doing that, they simply give them the illusion of it by jumping straight and make them switch sides. Make them block the wrong way. What else have I discovered with Urian that is pretty clever? I have this nice little corner mix-up. That corner mix-up, for the most part, it's up to the opponent really. For the most part, it's up to the opponent to kind of mix themselves up, because what I do with this, it simply gives you the illusion that I'm going behind, but I'm not. It gives you the illusion that I'm going behind, but I'm not. So this is it. Trying to do a different one here. With the heavy now, with the fierce headbutt, I did end up behind. Right? I did end up behind. This is how it looks like. on the other side. On the front. And with the medium, I could end up behind. So I think what really makes the difference is how high or how low I hit the opponent. I'm trying to go behind here and it's not working. Trying to go behind with the medium punch and it's not working. I might have some micro walk. Right, there it is. I had to kind of hit him really high with his second fierce. It's kind of tricky with the. It's very tricky with the medium. But I noticed if I hit him high enough, I'll have ample time to go underneath. Well, let me see if I could do it lower. Yeah. It is kind of about the height management. But it's really tricky. It's really tricky. But one thing is for sure is if I'm using the fierce, it's going to, I could switch sides with the fierce headbutt. So for consistency's sake, and this is one of the things that probably is a big problem with Street Fighter V in general, being able to maintain that consistency is kind of tough, because you notice just now I did it with the medium headbutt and I could I can end up behind. But it's not that simple. However, once I'm doing it with the fierce, it is easy because he stays in the air longer and he keeps traveling longer. Right, and I think Urien lands first too. Yeah, Urien lands first. So if it is they try to press buttons, or if they think they're facing the other direction and they try to do a DP in that direction, right, like I said, the mix-up going to work like that because you end up getting hit. But it's not that easy. It's not that easy with the medium punch. Of course, with jab, I'm staying in front. That's another setup too. But this one, Urien stays in the air so long that it's really high risk. It's really high risk, and I wouldn't really advise that you do it unless you're sure, you know for sure, you have a very good read that the opponent is going to do something like a DP or something. So Yeah, that's the only way that will really work for sure for you. Well, now where's the frame advantage there? Let me see what's happening with my execution today. All right, I am not at advantage there. I think I'm minus. Yeah, I'm minus frames there. So I'm not gonna do that unless I definitely want to switch sides. In which case I'm going to use the fierce punch, and I need to be sure that the person is going to do something going the opposite direction. Yeah, that's definitely what I need to do there in that scenario. Alright, so guys, I think I'm going to end this stream right there because clearly I'm not getting any more fights. I just wanted to do some casuals really just to highlight some of these things that I was showing off. But I'm not getting that opportunity. I'm not getting the opportunity to do that, so I think I'm going to end this. And maybe another day I'll show you guys some more tricks with Urien. So, peace out. A-Town down.